Well, the markets are down big today. And of course, once that happens, then all the headlines start to show all the reasons why. Trump and China, we have inflation worries with people not being able to keep up. Were those not issues last week? The government shutdown, was that not an issue this week? I want to repeat over and over to everybody watching this. This is all a bunch of news and BS to get attention away from the fundamental problem, overvaluation. The market's overvalued. Now, does that mean we're crashing? Not necessarily. Does that mean we're going to have some major bear market? Yeah, the next 10 years are probably not going to look as good as the last 10 years. But that doesn't mean that we know when that's going to happen. All we know is the more you pay for something, the less your return is going to be. To put it in layman's terms, if this cell phone is worth $1,000 and you pay $1,000 for it, you're going to make $0 in profit. If you pay $100 for it, you're going to make $900 in profit. The less you pay, the more you make. Same with the stock market. Same with every investment you make. The more you pay, the less your return will be in the future. That's a fact. Now, if that makes sense to you and you like a channel that's going to give you updates on what's going on in the market to help you be more calm and to understand what really matters, follow the channel, subscribe to this channel, and I assure you that during the worst of days, you'll have the most calm by listening to us. Because guys, who cares if the NASDAQ's down 2.5%? We've said before in the past, the NASDAQ from April 8th to now was up like 55%. The big leaders will gain the most during upside, but that means during the downside, the big leaders will also fall the most. If you know on our main channel, I had my own personal Magnificent Seven that were not sexy stocks that crushed it in the first half of the year. And then they got absolutely demolished since April 8th. Why? Because the NASDAQ 100, the Magnificent Seven, absolutely crushed it from April 8th until now. But I still believe that my boring Magnificent Seven will outperform the real Magnificent Seven over a long period of time, over years. And guess what? In that time period, the news will change on what the Magnificent Seven actually is. This is not anything new. Trump talking and tweeting about canceling his meeting with President Xi. Okay, who cares? Who cares? It seems like we should care in the short run, but we should not care in the long run. And honestly, you shouldn't care in the short run, because what that's going to mean is you're going to make decisions that are not smart for the long run. And the scariest of times, the times you need to be the most calm and most understanding, that stocks in the long run, if you pay a reasonable price, do very, very well. The reality is we're still 125% overvalued compared to history. That just means that the next 5, 10, 15 years are not going to be as good as the last 5, 10, 15 years. Now, to sit there and look at what's going on in the markets now and say that it's okay, who knows what's going to happen? Is this the start of a short-term bear market? We have no idea. This could be a short-term blip up to new highs. Nobody in the short run has any idea what's going to happen. But in the long run, we can sit there and say it might be harder. It might be harder because the more money you spend to buy $1 of revenue, $1 of cash flow, means the less percent return you're going to make. And that's okay. That's okay if you're dollar cost averaging into low cost ETFs, because you're not going to try to guess what's high or low. So I look at what's going on in the market right now, and I sit there and see the words. Now it's all about B of A's flow show strategist foresees Middle East peace dividend and oil price. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? High inflation and scarcity of jobs leave Americans increasingly frustrated with the economy. Yeah, the high inflation is an issue for a lot of people. But guys, that doesn't mean it's going to happen forever. There will be a rebalancing, just like we had low inflation for a long time, and then all of a sudden an explosion. This stuff goes in cycles. There's 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and cycles. That's going to happen at all time. This is an unbelievable thing. The NASDAQ's down 2.5%. The Dow's down 1.24%. The S&P is down 1.8%. The VIX, which is the volatility index, which is the fear index, is up 30% over 21. But guess what, guys? The historical average is 19, and we're at 21 right now. Gold is still teetering around $4,000. Oil is down to $59 per barrel. I didn't even know it was that low. That's incredible. Guys, I really can't reiterate this enough. You can't worry about the day-to-day fluctuations in the market. Just do what I do. I don't even look at my brokerage account. I buy good companies at good prices and wait for the market to take over. I have no idea when the market's going to realize value, but eventually it will. If you're buying individual stocks, that's the strategy you need. If you're buying just low-cost ETFs and that's it, even easier. Just buy and keep repeating over and over. If you're doing both, like I do, I buy low-cost ETFs and I buy individual stocks, then you got to have a balance of both. That's just the reality of it all. So guys, we're going to be here to talk about all the highs and lows and to remind people that what matters in the long run is the valuation of the market. And guess what? If we have a recession, earnings are going to plummet. Earnings are going to go down. Does that mean you shouldn't buy? No. You should be buying the markets when fear is the greatest. There was a great quote I heard the other day, and I want to pull it up right here because it's from Howard Marks, and it's such a great quote here. If we invest and the world melts down, it doesn't matter. But if we don't invest and the world doesn't melt down, we failed. That's a great quote. If we invest and the world melts down, it doesn't matter. What does that mean? If you invest and the world goes to nothing, your money's not going to matter anyhow, so who cares? But if you don't invest and the world doesn't melt down, which, by the way, the world has never melted down, even after terrorist attacks, assassination attempts, COVID shut the world down. Guess what? You wish you'd invested the truck, the entire farm at that point. If you don't invest and the world doesn't melt down, you're going to have major regrets. Just remember that every time you're fearful. Guys, we're here to talk about individual stocks. We're here to talk about market news and how they all work together. But our focus is literally 10, 15, 20 years down the road. But we understand that in the short run, people worry about what's going on. So if this makes sense to you, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. If you've been watching us for a while and you want to up your investing game, check out our software. It's wonderful. There's a 7-day trial below. Click the link, try it out. I assure you, you will have really, really enjoyed all of it. Thank you for your time.